Today on Discover Wisconsin, we're discovering how Reedsburg is a hub of fun for everyone.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
This is an anthem for those who look for more and never say they've seen it all. Windows down, let's take a ride. The good land's great tonight.
Reedsburg lies on the 90th meridian, the center of the Western Hemisphere. It's a small town in the Driftless Area surrounded by natural beauty. Mariah and I are going to show you some of the fun activities Reedsburg offers to people of all ages. So in Reedsburg, a river runs through it, the Baraboo River, which is this beautiful meandering river. And every year they host the Lazy Beaver Canoe and Kayak race.
The Lazy Beaver Canoe Race is a canoe kayak race that takes place from Laval back into Reedsburg. It's a nice meandering race on the Baraboo River, longest reclaimed river in the country, but wanders through fields, forests, a lot of adventures and wildlife along the way, so always a good time.
Most canoe and kayak races are highly competitive and people are a little bit intense and everything. And this was more of a family-friendly event and everybody kind of got dressed up in a way. I didn't know the ice cream man would be there, for example.
It's a pretty relaxed race. I mean, Lazy Beaver kind of says it all. We have 3 levels. We have paddle like crazy. We start them at the front, and then we have move along, and then we have don't care when I finish. And we usually start those towards the end.
The Baraboo River meanders beautifully, and it's actually about 11.5 river miles from Laval to Reedsburg. Along the way, there's a lot of cliffs, old railroad bridges, even a log jam or two, but I was able to navigate that.
This is our first time doing the Lazy Beaver Canoe Race. I think it's a race. It's more of a fun outing for everybody as far as I know. My wife and I are trying it for our first time. We're looking to enjoy the wildlife, just having a great day in the wild outdoors.
So it's a very friendly, fun event, and you feel like you know everybody in town by the time you're done. I canoed with a guy and his daughter, next to them for a little while. We chatted. They had a Siberian Husky in their boat. That was one patient pup. The best part of this event, though, is we're in the middle of the beautiful, beautiful Driftless Area, and you see it a lot of times from the road. You don't see it from the river very often. This gives you a chance. From the water to the land, you can swap your boat for a bike and hit the 400 State Trail.
The 400 State Trail is a 22-mile, multi-purpose, 4-season bike trail that connects Reedsburg to Elroy. It's a great trail for families because it's a flat trail. Anybody can really ride it, from small children and toddlers through elderly senior citizens who get out there and absolutely love the trail. It doesn't have much of a grade at all.
The reason it doesn't have much of a grade at all is because it was a former railroad line, a rail-to-trail conversion that was part of the old 400 line between Chicago and Minneapolis, which was 400 miles in 400 minutes.
The best thing about it, I think, is because there are towns in the middle, you can get off and just rest your legs or take a stretch, maybe get a bite to eat, or even look around in some of the shops in these other communities. The 400 State Trail is really known and is very popular for the natural wildlife and just the real scenic beauty, because the trail actually crosses the Baraboo River 11 times. There are lots of farms along the way. Of course, there's just lots of scenic views that you're going to find when you're out on the trail.
After a day of paddling or biking, what better way to unwind than by listening to some live music with friends at Reedsburg's Concerts in the Park.
Concerts in the Park at Reedsburg. Let's combine music and a picnic and social gathering and getting together and enjoying where we live. It brings in different groups throughout the summer every week. There are jazz groups that come in. We have rock bands, gospels, country, and it's a great meeting place on a Wednesday night in the middle of town to gather and appreciate the arts and appreciate music and have a great time. We formed this group 6 or 7 years ago as a way to get high school kids all the way up to retired music teachers opportunity to play in the summer for camaraderie and bringing the community together.
You can just come here and have a good time and enjoy yourself and just sit and listen to some good music.
Plan your visit to Reedsburg by heading to discoverwisconsin.com. Coming up next, I'm arriving in style at the Reedsburg Fly-in and Drive-in Pancake Breakfast. We're back in Reedsburg, taking you to a hub of fun for everyone. So here in Reedsburg, we're basically covering it all. We got the water with canoeing, we've got the land by biking the 400 trail, and now we're going to cover the air at the Reedsburg Fly-in and Drive-in.
An event like this is really fun. We've got planes flying in, we've got cars for people to look at, we've got our local EMS services, the ambulance service, the helicopters, and this year we had airplane rides as well as helicopter rides.
So of course, had to arrive in style by chopper at the Fly-in and Drive-in, because that's what you do. And then you eat pancakes. Went to the Pancake Breakfast, eggs, pancake sausage, chocolate milk, tasty breakfast. It's kicking the ballistics and working the logistics on these cakes here. When they fly in and drive in, they get hungry. And then you got to see great planes and great old cars. People flew their planes in from all around, mostly single engines, so you got to see those planes. Some are even offering them up for sale. And then street rods and a bunch of great old cars, a Plymouth from the mid-30s, a bunch of other great restored autos in there too.
We're happy to see all people that come back over and over and over, looking forward to the first Sunday of June every year.
While Eric was up in the clouds at the Fly-in Drive-in, my feet were planted firmly on the ground as I made the rounds at Reedsburg Uncorked. Reedsburg Uncorked is an event that happens every spring in downtown Reedsburg, where you round up your girlfriends, grab a glass, and meet all kinds of great people over, what else? Glasses of wine.
The Reedsburg Uncorked has actually been around since 2010. We have the ladies that come out with their friends and have a big girls' night and have a lot of fun. We have couples that'll come out just for an evening of walking, strolling, enjoying wines. It is a chance to bring people into our downtown area, come out, have a good time, enjoy wine, sample foods, and just really kick off the spring with a fun time.
So one of the coolest parts of Uncorked is that you get to go to some of these really cool little shops, but you also get to try some wine and chocolate in some cases and meet different people throughout the area. I loved it. We had a great time meeting the people of Reedsburg and also checking out some of the really cool shops there. It was a really unique, really fun event. Months after they ring in the springtime with the warm vibes of Uncorked, the people of Reedsburg kick off the Christmas season with a charming community event called the Living Windows.
It's a huge kickoff to Christmas. A lot of happy people here tonight. A lot of people having a lot of fun tonight. It's kind of a throwback. Everybody's dressing in period correct clothing, just showing the people of Reedsburg a good time, what it used to be like. Friday night and Saturday night were the night to be downtown.
It makes me really happy seeing the community come together, and the kids really love it. You know, seeing all the lights and being able to engage. You know, they have the horse-drawn carriage and cookies and all these cute little treats, and they get to help decorate.
Our favorite window was the Grinch window. The girls were very cute.
It is a very lovely get-together. It's nice to see everybody smiling. And how many decorations there are, it is a very lovely time.
Just the joy of being a small town, Reedsburg, and seeing friends on the street. It's just a joy to be part of.
Head to discoverwisconsin.com, where you'll find a free itinerary packed with all the fun you can have in Reedsburg. Coming up, I visited Reedsburg's famous summer festival, Butterfest, and discovered how Reedsburg puts a new twist on the old game of bingo. We're back in Reedsburg, visiting a hub of fun for everyone. Butterfest is every summer in Reedsburg. It is an awesome festival. I love myself a good summer carnival, and that's exactly what you're gonna find here at Butterfest. But as Reedsburg does, they throw in their own kind of Reedsburg charm.
The reason it's called Butterfest, it started in 1971. We were the butter capital of the world. We produce more butter than anywhere, and we've just kept the name, and we try to keep growing it bigger and bigger.
Starting off with a classic hometown parade and continuing on to the exciting carnival grounds, Butterfest offers fun for the entire family, plus some unexpected surprises.
One of the things that really stood out to me was an event called Bossy Bingo. It involved a cow and a lot of waiting. Bossy Bingo is a pretty straightforward game, one I have never played or seen before. I'll leave it to Reedsburg.
Bossy Bingo is a fundraiser so that we have money to spend for kids in the community. It's a little bit unique and really classy, isn't it? We have a live cow on the field. It's appropriate, certainly, and instead of tipping cows, like is known in Wisconsin, we're having them do their inevitable duty with 100 squares, exact same number as tickets we sold, and let her do her thing around the area. And we then declare a winner of the square that she does her duty on, and it's as random as we can get to pick a winner. So we think that's appropriate too. And it's exciting every year to bring it and sell 100 squares and give away thousands of dollars in prize money.
Butterfest ends with a bang as adventurous drivers from miles around come to see who can last the longest in the Demolition Derby.
Demolition Derby is one of the biggest events we have all week long. It's our final night. We get demolition drivers from Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota. It's a huge event. Kids love it. The grandstands, as you'll see later today, are just absolutely filled up with people. People like to see the smashing of the cars.
Oh, it's awesome. It's thrilling. Smash them up, crash them up, make junk, basically, by the end of the day.
Yep, you get in, they say go, and you smash some stuff up, and you hit everybody, and you try to be the last person running to win the big dollars.
The crowd, they love it. It's kind of a whole family thing. They pick their favorite driver when they come out, and they're rooting for them, and it's just total action-packed. There's not a dull moment in it.
It's legal stress relief. It's a great time, great community event, and we're really glad to be part of it.
Visit discoverwisconsin.com to see some photos of all the fun you can have in Reedsburg. Coming up,
I've had a long day out in the forest and stuff. What's for dinner?
Cabbage, and you're gonna cook it.
Eric learns how to make sauerkraut the old-fashioned way.
Okay. We're back in Reedsburg, a hub of fun for everyone. Now, along my trip, I visited the Reedsburg Historical Society Pioneer Log Village, where some colorful characters helped me step back in time to see what life was like for the people of Reedsburg in the 1800s. Visiting the Pioneer Log Village really is an adventure that makes you feel like you're stepping into a different world. Oh, nice. So are these replicas or are these originals?
These are all original cabins that came from the Reedsburg area that were moved here. And the unique part about this cabin is the floor. You're probably not gonna see another floor like this in Wisconsin. It's called a puncheon floor. And these are just pieces of black locust, about this long, sharpened on the end, driven in as tight as you can, and then sand is pounded in around it, and it makes for a very, very nice floor.
So they're like tent stakes.
That's
almost,
it.
And then you fill it in.
You know, it was one step up from just a ground floor, but one step below a plank floor.
But this is cool though. You could never rollerblade on it.
No.
But otherwise, wow. This handmade mountain goat fur coat was brought from Zurich, Switzerland in 1884. Wow. So that's mountain goat fur.
Keep you warm in a Wisconsin winter.
Not bad. Sorry.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes. I also got to learn how Reedsburg's pioneers used to prepare sauerkraut.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
This is a crock, and this is a kraut cutter. It has blades, and this slides back and forth over the top of the blades. And you just continually cut cabbage and then put salt over top until you get the container about 2 inches from the top.
So how many heads of cabbage can fit in this massive thing?
In this one, I can get 22 heads.
Wow. So that's like 6 months worth of cabbage.
Actually, We've been known to do about 9 of these to feed all of our extended family.
Fortunately, I managed to slice that cabbage without cutting myself. But had I done so, Phyllis showed me how they would have fixed me up in the 1800s thanks to her Apothecary Garden. And what is an apothecary garden?
An apothecary garden is a garden of herbs. It's kind of like a drugstore for the doctors in the 1800s. They did not have a way of getting patented medicine. They had to make their own. My favorite herb, and it is really unique, is lamb's ears. And I'm gonna let you feel lamb's ears. Don't they feel wonderful?
Wow. Do real lambs have ears this soft?
I don't know, I've never felt a real lamb's ear. But in Civil War, there was no penicillin, there was nothing to draw out poisons. The doctors in those days would dress the wounds with lamb's ears, and that had antibiotics and draws out all the poisons of the wounds. So this is a wonderful herb to have in a garden.
From the 1800s through today, Reedsburg's agricultural heritage is always on display, and nothing represents this town's pride in that heritage quite like barn quilts. So when you're driving around, you see those colorful squares on all these barns all over the place? Those are called barn quilts. And I was always a little curious about those. And here in Reedsburg and in Sauk County surrounding the town, there's a lot of barn quilts. And nobody knows more about that around here than Vicki Baumgarten. And Vicki, tell us more about these barn quilts that are everywhere.
Well, I mean, they're everywhere. And it's just beautiful to see. And I think that's what inspired me to start painting them. I've only been doing it a couple of years. You know, the origin of barn quilts was to celebrate your heritage, ward off evil spirits was another reason barn quilts started. And it's another avenue of promoting art on the barns. I feel like every barn should have one. It really does catch your eye. It's just beautiful to see.
So you have a few projects percolating right now. Can we go take a look?
Sure,
All
sure,
right.
that would be great.
What Vicki's able to do is take a lot of people's family history, designs, and patterns, blend it with what their farm looks like throughout the season, and then create something that's personal and reflective right on their barn. So as you're driving by, that's something you can appreciate as a beautiful piece of art surrounded by a beautiful area of land that ties into that farm family. You're going to want to check out a lot of these barn quilts in the area because it's a beautiful way to explore the countryside and see how a little bit of art is just tacked on all these barns everywhere you go. You know, basically we got to explore a great and vibrant small town. We got to check out the 400 trail. We got to canoe and kayak down the Baraboo River, which runs right through the town. Fly-in, drive-in, helicopter ride, concerts in the park in the summertime. Pioneer Village, which was really cool, a 19th century exploratory adventure. Basically, it doesn't get much better when you're visiting a place, when you're visiting a town. You've got the natural beauty, the small town charm. We did so many fun things here. It was great.
Discover Wisconsin is the state's leading media brand. Continue the adventure at discoverwisconsin.com and stream episodes on YouTube and Roku TV.